Welcome to Spot On, where we showcase people with remarkable talent. I'm your host, Cheryl Thomas. Welcome to Spot On. I'm your host, Cheryl Thomas, and we're on location at Ed Dixon's Art Gallery. And we're down here for the autograph signing and reading of poet, musician, author David Matthews.
Hello. Hi, everyone. I'm Ed Dixon, the owner of the Everyday Dixon Gallery. So welcome, everyone, for coming tonight to our book signing and spoken word session featuring artist Dave Matthews. If you haven't been here before, of course, this is the Everyday Dixon Gallery. This is our third location. We've been downtown for about 6 years now, and currently we have an exhibition that you can see now, Marilyn Page's beautiful ballet dancers, which the artist is back in the back. She's here today. Raise your hand, Marilyn. And then next week, we actually have a new exhibition starting with an artist from California who's actually a Dayton native as well. Juco, she'll have her artwork here next week. So if you haven't already, you can sign the guest book as well, and that way you can help, you can stay in touch with what's going on at the gallery. So I want to go ahead and turn things over. So I'm going to introduce Hassani Scott, who's the CEO of Soul Fire Productions, and she's going to take care of the rest of the show.
Thank you, Mr. Dixon. I'd like to thank everyone again for coming. I've known Ed Dixon since 1995. He's talking about art galleries. That's just one of his many creative capabilities. He started out making music in the same building we had offices at on Main Street, Fort Life Records. And in 1995, he became a permanent fixture of my life, and we're still following each other. He also has had a modeling agency. He's just done a lot. I followed him through every one of his art galleries, from Ludlow to First Street, and now here on St. Clair. They were all marvelous. And we just thank Ed because he's always so gracious to allow us to come in and do this kind of, I guess it's still considered art. The spoken word part, the literature part, and just being able to invite friends and meet new friends. So thank you all for coming. Before I get started in this program, I do want to acknowledge some very dear friends who are constantly following what David and I do, and that's DATV, Cheryl Thomas here with her Spot On programming and Flowers While You Live show. You don't want to miss those. They're really great shows. I have Bernadette back here in the back. She's one of our blessed individuals that does a lot for the community. Just enjoy seeing her because she's always going somewhere, doing something magnanimous for African American people. She's a mentor for me, and I just love her. I have the skating rink heiress back here in the back, Miss Johnson, and she's also a follower of David and I whenever we're doing anything. Just so many of you who just grace us. Maceo Cofield and his wife Marty. Marty actually typed David's first book back in the day. David's had 3 of them, as a matter of fact. So I'd like to bring David and Lee on and have them sit. I just want to recognize some things that David has done. This is his 4th book. The 3rd one was Message that he had in 1984, so it took him 40 years to finish this book. And he had everything written out, because I kept saying, Dave, when you're going to do something and you're going to write something? He said, I had this manuscript since what, 1984. I just wasn't ready to put it out. I said 40 years now. Let's get it going. So he has been writing. He has some of the old and the new. David has won awards, and I just want to steal this one because I can't remember everything, but I want to acknowledge his awards. Um, he is a discovery of Nikki Giovanni in 1972. She was graced with his work, and she decided David was one of the ones that she wanted to promote. And since then, he's made a lasting impression in the world of poetry. He's a native of Dayton, Ohio, often referred to as the next Paul Laurence Dunbar. He started his evening on Broadway poetic production and has toured over 300 colleges in 21 states. He is a recipient of the Ohio Library of Congress as one of the top authors of Ohio. He was asked by Voyage Ohio magazine in Los Angeles, California, to be a part of their popular Inspiring Stories series for 2024. And you are going to be graced with a personal production which samples his many talents this afternoon. I'm pleased to present David Matthews.
How's everybody doing this afternoon? And that sounds a whole lot better because, you know, I don't want you to take for granted that you woke up this morning. I had done that for many years until a few months ago when my wife found me on the floor at 5 in the morning. And I didn't wake up till 5 days later, and my daughter says, I don't know how you're going to take this, Dad, but you've been in the hospital for 5 days. And I don't remember anything being wrong with me before I went to bed that night, so we can't take for granted that you were going to wake up the next morning. So if you do, and you're on this side of the grass, you need to be happy. So I'm going to ask you again, how y'all feeling this afternoon? Oh, now you're making me a believer. I'm blessed, brother. Really blessed. This is an old friend of mine. That's really likes to mess with me. As a matter of fact, I probably have several friends in here that have known me for over 50 years. So when you got people that have known you that long, they have seen my career develop in every aspect. I want to start by a friend of mine in Washington, D.C. When she first saw my book, one of the things she said is, David, why is your name so small on the book? And I said, well, the Father blessed me with this talent, and I don't think that my name is that important. I think what's more important is that you remember my message. So I'm going to explain this to everybody so when you leave here today, you'll have an idea why you were here. The main reason that you're here is because I'm here to tell you that the most important word in the world is sponge. Sponge because it means absorb, it means take in, it means soak up, and that's what we should be doing 24 hours a day with knowledge. Just sponging knowledge, not just certain times during the week when you feel like it, but every day sponging and ciphering knowledge. Now what I have found out is because I've told my audiences that, I have people that will stop me on the street and they may say, hey poet, saw you at Tuskegee Institute back in 78, man. I'm still sponging. Hey, poet, saw you at Kansas State back in 99. I'm still sponging. And see, now one time did you hear them say my name, but you heard them say the message. And that's what's most important. I have some messages for you today, hoping that you are hungry. And I came here with the nourishment to give it to you. Now, I do my poetry a little different than most people, and I never forget when I first met Nikki Giovanni, she said, what's going to make you different from any other artist? And I said, when they see me, they're going to say they've never seen an artist like me before. because each one of my poems take on their own personality. Today I want to start with this presentation right here. This is a painting that was dedicated to me by Bing Davis in 1980. It says, "Oh, to two black Dayton poets, Paul Laurence Dunbar for his poem We Wear the Mask, and David Matthews for his poem Time Brings About a Change." Now, if you've never read Paul Laurence Dunbar's We Wear the Mask, after this evening, go back and read it, because you need to understand what drove Bing Davis to make a comparison of these two poems and these two poets, because they have a similar saying, just done a different way. So I woke Bing Davis up at 3 in the morning to read him a poem. Now, I didn't realize it was 3 in the morning. Bing and I had been friends for years, and I wrote the poem, and I just picked up the phone, and I called him, and his wife said, "Yes, what's going on?" I said, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize it was 3 in the morning." Bing says, "Who is he?" He says, "David. He's on the phone. He wants to read us a poem." He said, "Well, get on the other line." That was back when we had landlines. He said, "Get on the other line." And they were both listening to me do this poem. And little did I know that about 5 or 6 months later, he was going to invite me up to his house. We lived about 2 blocks apart at that time. And he took me up into his attic, which was his studio, and he showed me this painting. And it's probably one of the most precious possessions that I have, that someone would think that much of me. I told you that all my poems have their own personality, and this one is no different. And to assist me in doing this poem, I'm going to bring out somebody special. And this person is special because I was probably the last guy in my group to have kids. I mean, I was on the road a lot. I just was too busy. And anytime somebody mentioned kids to me, I said, "I don't have time for no kids." I mean, that's a serious responsibility. And I had been married that first time for 40 years. I married a friend of mine that we had been friends for 15 years and then married for 40. And we had a very lovely daughter who also took a liking to what I was doing. As a matter of fact, she said, "Daddy, I used to sit on the basement steps and listen to y'all practice." And then she ended up going to Stivers School of Performing Arts, learning her craft even more. And we told the uh, instructor that what I did, and they allowed her to travel on the road with me. And her theater company was so good at the time at Stivers Performing Arts that they got a chance to perform in Holland and in Paris, besides performing with me. So would you please welcome my daughter, I call her my twin, Dr. Lee Matthews Carter. Come on, give her a little bit more than that, okay? That's what I'm talking about. I want her to work. This poem is called Time Brings About a Change. Y'all ready?
Yes.
Okay, here we go. You ready? Huh?
Tick, tick, tock, 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 tick, tock.
Time brings about a change. If you just happen to be sitting around with your ears open and your mind free, then gather the sounds of my words as they flow across my lips, gaining expressions through my voice. I said, if you just happen to be sitting around with your ears open and your mind free, then gather the sounds of my words as they flow across my lips, gaining expressions through my voice. You know, At a certain point in time, one learns to grow tired without exerting energy and grow old without aging. On occasion, I found myself awakened by one of the prowlers of the night.
What?
Like maybe at 3 a.m., the neighbor's dog felt this was a good time to be clumsy and careless and knocked over my garbage can. Disturbed by the noise and aroused out of a dream I'll probably never be able to get back to, I suddenly find myself wide awake. So, I quietly walked downstairs to retrieve a cold glass of wine from the refrigerator.
Wine?
Only to remember upon opening the door that I drank the last of it during yesterday's boredom. So, yeah, I know. I'll settle for orange juice instead.
Good, better for you.
I gathered myself up and walked back upstairs to end up gazing out the window, finding myself at this window so many times I know every leaf on the neighbor's tree above me, as if together they revealed an open book history of my past and present life. You see, I have many friends.
Friends?
Yet more often than I would like, I'm lonely.
Some friends you got there.
But you see, I'm a loving person with a warm heart, and yet my bed, oh my bed, oh,
What?
my bed has been empty for weeks.
Sheesh.
Uh, uh, uh,
Okay, come on.
give me a moment.
This is a safe place. It's okay. Go
And
ahead.
I'm beginning to wonder.
I guess so. We all are too.
I'm beginning to wonder if what seems to worry me really does matter. For love with life or life with love is really all that it's cracked up to be. For when you're in love, laughing always occurs before crying and the tears. The tears seem to linger while the smiles of reminiscence of past joy seem slowly pushed back into a corner to be covered by yesterday's one-sided, no-account arguments. Time brings about a change. When one becomes fed up or tired of a duplication of Blue Mondays, Sad Tuesdays, Frantic Wednesdays, Gloomy Thursdays, and Rust ain't worth a damn weekend. Time brings about a change. But it always seems to rain on my side of the street. And if I cross the street, the rain only follows. It's like no matter how hard I try, I can't keep from getting wet. But I won't allow myself to be washed up or washed away. I said I won't ever allow myself to be washed up or washed away. I mean, like, time brings about a change. And my change is all about self-endurance. Like catching my own falling star so that I might shine upon every morning as I gather warmth from the sun. Now it still may rain from time to time, I'm sure.
Be sure.
But none of those raindrops will ever touch me.
Okay.
You see, I'm a new person.
New.
For the upteenth time.
Up team time. I don't, how many is that? Up team.
It's a whole lot of them.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You see, I'm back riding high and saddle.
Hi.
Spreading joy.
Yeah.
Feeling good.
Good.
And talking plenty.
Hey, hey, hey. What you about to say? Hey, hey.
Stuff.
Okay, stop. Okay.
Oh, yes. Time does bring about a change. And I know. Oh, I know. 'Cause time done brought about a change in me. Now people say, Dave, why you do that like that? See, I want to overemphasize the message. Meaning I want to make sure that you got that. As a matter of fact, that poem is on page 12 in the book. So everything that we do is going to be in the book, so I want you to make sure that you get the book. I'm going to bring another person up here because I decided this time that, because the women are always asking me about love poetry. Do you do any love poetry? Of course I do some love poetry. I've been in love before. And as I told you, my first wife, we were friends for 15 years, we were married for 40, we had a lovely daughter, and then in 1919, she passed away. I'm sorry, 2019. Let me get my days together. 2019, she passed away with. I told you I was only 25. She passed away with cancer, and the Father blessed me with another beautiful wife. And it's a good thing if he did, because I wouldn't have had nobody to find me on the floor at 5 in the morning. I done passed out, so I'm still here with you. So would you get another warm welcome to my wife, Hassani Scott Matthews. Now, I picked her out to do these series of love poems. This first one, she might remember.
I've only got them all around the house.
This one is called To You Too. And the reason it's called To You Too, because there was a To You One. And it's funny because when I did this at our wedding, most of the women only remember the last 2 or 3 lines I said. Now, when I do the poem, maybe you'll understand why that was. So here we go. You ready?
I'm ready,
Okay.
always.
To you. Sometimes I want to hold you. Other times I want to kiss you. But every time I hold you, I kiss you, and our kissing never stops because one of us wanted to stop. But because you got tired. You see, my name is forever. And when my arms are put around you, my fingers fasten together like locks. And I'm one that can kiss you as long as I can hold you. And I'm gonna hold you like I've been named. You know what, Hassani? Regardless of all the pretty music, regardless of all the pretty poems, I don't know how much time I have on this earth. I don't know if I have another 20 years or another 20 seconds. All I do know is I want to spend it with you.
Oh, beautiful.
If he starts crying, just don't pay attention.
We're gonna cry with
You
him.
Uh, well, let me go in the book here. That poem is on page 49. This one's on page 50. And it has to be done very slow just because of the way it's written. And this one is called Hassani, You. You are my glorious morning, even if it rains. You are my lift up, even when life tries to bring me down. You give me that daily extra reason for living. You put a spring in my step, joy in my heart, and a smile on my face. You've got my front and my back. Your love is real. Your love is genuine. What you will do for my happiness is endless. You are a continued life blessing. You make me proud of your presence around me. I love the way you dress, the way you smell. I love knowing you're embedded in my life as you are in my heart. Simply, you put the breath in my life, which allows me to truly live. I know now, whatever was missing in my life, I found in you. Don't go nowhere. She's ready to take off. She's ready to take off. I got another one in here. Yeah. Now, this poem is funny because it was written several years ago, and it was written for a young lady I probably wasn't with 6 months. But I got, hey sis, gotta be honest. But the attraction there, when we first met, was very shocking. As a matter of fact, this poem is called Shocked. Like if you stick your finger in the socket, you might get shocked. Now, I want to dedicate this to my wife, but I also want to dedicate it to all the other ladies in here, all the other young ladies in here. Because ain't nothing but young ladies in here, right? All right. Here we go. You ready, babe? I'm ready. Oh, here we go. Shot. One day while minding my own business, I felt your eyes reach out and touch mine as you casually started checking me, checking you, 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 checking me, checking you out. I became chilled and a little off balance, and I slowly looked around to see if those vibes were meant for me. But then your vibrations enclosed me so tight, I knew I was caught in your web, and I was enjoying being captured. You see, I started having sex with your mind and uncontrollably climaxing every 5 seconds. And never once, and never once thought about taking you to bed. And then I wondered, who is this person who has made me blind so I would not rape them with my eyes and has my soul wet from excitement? And a voice said, a lady whose mind has one hell of a body. And a voice said, a lady whose mind has one hell of a body. And I stood perfectly still and said, well, all right. Come on, y'all show us some love. Easy for you, sweetheart. Thank you. Now I want you to do something for me. I want you to go on a journey with me. You know, being a poet, I always feel that I've always been an open book. I mean, what don't you know about me? If you read my books, you know how I feel about love, you know how I feel about having the blues. You just know about all my feelings because I'm an open book. I'm a poet. So you have that advantage. You have that edge. But I want you to go on a little journey with me right now. I want you to just hold your hands out like that. You only have to do this for a little while. Terry, I think I'm going to need a little music for this. Yeah. Now I want you to inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. Amongst me is me. I'm who I am and not who I'm not. I'm not you. You're not me, though sometimes we're us. But most of the time, I'm me. And all the time, me is I walking. Well, I always got my mind walking. 'Cause walking is my mind. I can remember the times when I used to wake up mornings and wonder, was I ready to face the world? But now I'm truly different. For I travel like a breeze of air, reaching out and touching everything at once. And now I wake up mornings and wonder, is the world ready to face me? You see, I came to that crossroad of choice, and instead of being amongst the fork of two prongs, I was amongst many. Now, after observing the situation, I noticed that all these roads have been traveled before to some place, to some time, to somewhere. So I took off my shoes and socks so I might bore a new road with my beautiful brown velvet toes. I'm different. And you can't compare me to you or who, for I have no face, just me, myself, my being. Now I heard you know someone as a person, but never as an individual. Some will never know me at all, just feel my presence after I'm gone. But I was over there, and I'm going yonder, wherever yonder might be. But please, oh, please, please remember, amongst me is me. I'm who I am and not who I'm not. I'm not you, you're not me, though sometimes we're us, but most of the time, I'm me. And all the time, me is I walking. You see, I always got my mind walking, 'cause walking is my mind. My mind. My mind.
The poet, David Matthews.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the show. Till next time, I'm your host, Cheryl Thomas, with Spot On.